A tariff is an extra tax that's put on any good that comes from the outside the United States.
Lots of talk about tariffs recently. What does it mean and how does it affect you?
Have you ever filed taxes before? We will walk you through it to make it easier.
I think, I don't mean to speak for everybody, but I've kind of heard a couple comments, and then for myself too, it's good to get back on the road.
Tennessee baseball looking ahead to a weekend series against 6th-ranked Ole Miss. What Tony Vitello has to say about bouncing back in the SEC.
We're following several breaking news stories for you today. Thanks for joining us for TVC News Today. I'm Griffin Hadley.
And I'm Caitlin Kirkpatrick. Breaking news regarding immigration status changes for 4 UT students. 3 current students and 1 former student had their temporary employment authorization status changed and are possibly at risk for deportation after being identified in a criminal records check by the federal government.
Chancellor Dondi Plowman informed the school community that in an email saying that the cases will be investigated and the students will be supported by the Center of Global Engagement. Now, tariffs are in the spotlight again with a proposed universal 10% tariff on all imported goods.
Our Grayson Thatcher sat down with an economics professor to break down what this means and how it could affect you.
The foreign governments don't pay tariffs. The foreign companies don't pay tariffs. Rather that it's the American importer. So then that tax is going to get placed onto the consumer. And that consumer is you and me.
For years we've been ripped off and taken advantage of by China and others, in all fairness, but by China, that's the big one.
The tariff that's being proposed is a universal 10% tariff on every good imported into the United States. That means there's no more cost advantages for countries to try to give you a discount, so they're just going to shift that entire 10% onto American consumers.
When are we going to really start seeing those possible price increases? When are we going to really see it and really start feeling that impact?
So when the store starts running out of their inventory bananas, they're going to have to order more from Honduras, and then I will have to pay that 10% tax on those bananas as a consumer.
It was written as something that I think was very positive for the world and for us.
Some people also say, well, we're going to make revenue off of tariffs. But I like to point out that the most effective tariff would set the foreign price equal to the domestic price, and there would be no cost advantage for you to buy cheap Chinese t-shirts. So then you would just buy American at a higher price, and there'd be no revenue generated.
So how can students then, or just community members in general, start preparing for that price increase?
Yeah, so I think one of the best things that we can always do, because whether it's public policy or a pandemic or a recession, is we just always want to be prepared. So it's always smart for us to avoid unnecessary consumer debt, hold cash reserves in our bank accounts, be ready for a kind of a rainy day.
If you have any questions about other policies, go ahead and send us a direct message on Instagram at TVC News Now.
Knoxville has been seeing some severe weather this past week as spring is upon us.
Our TVC weather specialist Jackson Berg tells us more.
Hey Vols, it has been a rainy start to the weekend, so let's recap some of the weather we have been seeing. Starting with last night, we saw several severe thunderstorm watches accompanied with severe rainfall and some hail, as seen in this graph here. In surrounding counties, we saw flood watches and severe thunderstorm warnings. A watch is less severe than a warning, so our campus didn't even see the worst of the band of storms that came through last night. We're officially in spring and the rainy season for the southeast. As we can see, there are high chances of rain for this weekend, so be sure to stay weather aware and continue packing your umbrella when leaving for class, because this weather is anything but predictable. Later on, I'll give you the full weekend weather forecast, but for now, back to the desk.
Thank you, Jackson.
As President Trump administration is rolling out the federal funding freeze, this affects many people nationwide, including one nonprofit here in Knoxville.
Kyla Berry joins us now in the studio to break down what this means.
Caitlin Griffin, the Metro Drug Coalition receives nearly $100,000 a year to help them in their mission to end substance misuse. MDC receives 3 federal grants through ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act, and the Trump administration ended that funding 6 months shorter than expected. leaving MDC looking for financial assistance. Serving the community for over 38 years, MDC provides resources for community members. Their goal is to increase access to programs such as recovery support, prevention education, and harm reduction. The executive director of MDC tells me that with these funding cuts would force them to downsize their staff. And actually, nearly 7 minutes before my interview with the executive director, MDC received a phone call from the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
We're not going to lose a penny. The state is going to step up through that department. The department is going to honor and fund all of the projects in full, in total.
Webster tells me, while with the help of the state, MDC staff will not only keep their jobs, but it also helps them continue to serve the Knoxville community. Now, one of these staff members at Metro Drug Coalition is Jessica Burks, a regional overdose specialist. She has been clean for nearly 8 years, and now she's using her own experiences to be a light for others. She shares her story with me.
Showing them, well, parents, guardians, what this looks like.
Jessica Burke's passion
Access these services.
is showing her community resources,
Made it my life mission to become a walking resource.
providing her own community resources she did not have.
Know that my addiction became so strong because of the lack of resources.
That addiction started when she was young.
When I started using, I started off with opioids. So back in the day, that was when Oxycontin was really kind of running rampant through our communities.
It got worse as years went on.
Got to the point in my addiction where I made funeral plans with my mom.
She turned to drugs as her own resource.
Without being able to properly cope with some of the things I've gone through in life, that was what I had access to, and often.
Birch stopped using when her oldest was born.
Kind of realized like my family is preparing to lose me.
Now she's a resource for those battling addiction.
To train my community on like signs and symptoms of overdoses, just talking about different types of drugs, addiction.
Being a light for people like Becky Paris.
Into treatment on March the 31st of that year and met Jessica. She was one of my counselors in my treatment center that I was in.
Now Birch and Paris are serving their own community together.
It's really an honor even getting to work beside her for somebody that I've looked up to for, many years now.
Burks just received an award for Professional of the Year at the 2025 East Tennessee Association of Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Counselors Conference. Griffin Caitlin, not only is Burks serving the community to help provide resources for substance misuse, she tells me she's an advocate for human trafficking.
Thanks, Kyla.
Student government is making a change to make campus more accessible to all students. This is a story we have been following for you all semester. Last week, our Aubrey Curran spoke to 2 senators who sponsored a bill calling for the repairment of certain areas on campus that aren't accessible.
They're calling it Vols on Solid Ground, and this week it was officially passed by the Senate. While many accessibility initiatives have been put in place before one of the bill's sponsors, Blake McKirkin explains why this one is different.
Yes, it affects people with mobility devices and mobility issues, but it also affects all the other students.
According to Blake, the next step is for the university to decide when to start implementing the repairs around campus. More construction in Fort Sanders as Knoxville Utilities Board begins its work on Grand Avenue and blocking some spots students rely on for parking. Some students who park in the area either to go home or to go to class say they are having to find other options that are further away, sometimes circling the block for up to half an hour, only to find a spot several blocks from where they live. Other students we spoke with say they have to pay up to $100 extra per month for a parking pass in a lot.
Tax season is in full swing, and with the April 15th deadline just around the corner, UT students are learning about how to file their taxes for possibly the first time.
Our Maggie Swerking joins us in studio with the story. Maggie?
Yeah, Caitlin, with tax season in full swing, there are some key things you should know before filing for your taxes. One of them being that students should make sure that they have all of the appropriate forms, such as their W-2 forms from their employers. You should also talk to your parent or guardian if you are filing as a dependent or independent. If your parents are filing your taxes for you, they could keep your tax return. When I talked to accounting professor James Shiz, he told me that filing for taxes are the easiest they have ever been.
I would say the easiest way these days is one of many cloud-based tax preparation software tools that are out there.
There are many different ways that you could file your taxes, whether it being in person or online. One of the easiest being TurboTax. The TurboTax website is easier than you think. It offers a simple step-by-step process on how to get your returns this season. Don't forget, the last day to file for your taxes is April 15th, so make sure you get those returns.
Thanks, Maggie.
If you have plans to travel this summer, you need to make sure your identification or driver's license meets new federal security standards.
Starting May 7th, 2025, you must have an issued Real ID in order to board domestic flights. For more information to verify if your ID meets federal standards, visit dhs.gov.
Scholarships can be hard to come by, especially for non-traditional students. A former veteran and UT alum named John Grubb and his wife Debbie decided to help with that by offering multiple to a number of student veterans. It's a reward recipients like Kevin Ho are more than grateful for.
Just to see that, there are exterior forces out there that are supportive of what we're doing here for veterans.
The UT community includes more than 700 student veterans, more than 370 veteran faculty and staff members, and more than 6,400 alumni who have served in the armed forces. The Grubbs say it just made sense to give back to those who have sacrificed so much for our country.
The Knoxville Suffrage Coalition brings awareness to the inequalities women face. Some of their future goals include creating a women's suffrage museum here in Knoxville.
During Women's History Month, the Suffrage Coalition is highlighting some of the women who have pioneered the women's rights movement.
Well, this is a special month. This is Women's History Month, and so for Women's History Month each year, we like to draw a little more attention to these women that deserve so much of our credit and thanks, and so we decorate them.
The statues were decorated with sashes worn by members of the National Women's Party on March 8th in celebration of National Women's Day.
The Parks and Rec Department has been on a mission to gain feedback from the public and make these changes.
Our Carson Lowry tells us more.
Knoxville, it's time to play. The city's Parks and Recreation Department is launching Play Knoxville as a part of their master plan to improve our parks.
City of Knoxville, we have over 90 parks and we have over 125 miles of greenways and trails. So we have a lot of things that people already love. So we just want to connect with them to see how they can love it more and we can make it better.
The department is looking for feedback from you so they can tailor a master plan to fit everyone's wants and needs.
It's a way for us to connect with the community, to hear community feedback, what their priorities are, what their needs are, and helping our consultants put that all together and hopefully have a great plan in place by the end of the year.
The plan is getting neighbors excited, including Alan Cheatman. He says it's something that keeps him going during his retirement.
When I retired, it filled a void. I went a few years without having something to really want to do and play softball or volleyball. It's been perfect for me.
The Parks and Rec Department will be holding 6 public meetings and several events around the city in the upcoming weeks. They invite you to come out and learn more about their plan and to provide feedback.
I'm all excited about it. I am planning on going to the one in South Knoxville. It's about a mile from where I live, so it's a great resource for us. Can't wait to go and give my input.
To find out more about the Parks and Rec Department's future plans for the city, head over to playknoxvilletn.com. If you are up for late studying, you might think caffeine is your next answer in the morning. Caffeine is a stimulant that helps send the signals from your brain to your body faster. The benefits are more production and better alertness. However, caffeine is addictive and there can be serious side effects.
Registered dietitian Lee Murphy states that there is a healthy amount of caffeine you can consume and still have the benefits.
Like over 400 might be posed dangerous is the bottom line, but a purely safe amount would be less than 200.
Murphy suggests that nothing is better for energy more than good night's sleep. Stay with us as more stories for you about sports on Rocky Top.
You don't have a prayer at talking to Liam about controlling his emotions. That's a waste of time. And then speaking of, Jersey Shore isn't coming out of fish. He's going to act like that at all times.
Baseball's bouncing back after a series loss.
And a dominating performance for Tennessee track and field.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back to TVC News. It's time for the Rocky Top Sports Report.
Our Luke Lamry and Jordan Smitherman are ready to talk all things sports.
Thanks, Griffin. Hello, volunteers. It's time for your Rocky Top Sports Report. I'm Luke Lamry.
And I'm Jordan Smitherman. Tennessee sports had the home field advantage this past week as several spring sports hosted invites for teams all across the country. Tennessee diving saw the retirement of their most successful coach in history yesterday.
That's right. Dave Parrington wrapped up a 35-year career on Thursday, a career that saw him become the most decorated diving coach in SEC history, winning SEC Coach of the Year 16 times and National Coach of the Year once in 2013. His coaching brought about 47 SEC champions, 3 Olympians, and 1 world champion. Congratulations on a fantastic coaching career.
You just gotta stay ready, working every day, and then when your name's called, just go out there, have fun.
Tennessee baseball gained a midweek win against Alabama State on Tuesday, but it was a bit of a bounce-back game.
On the diamond last Friday, Tennessee hosted Texas A&M in Lindsey Nelson Stadium in a rematch of the College World Series. The Vols started off hot, taking down the Aggies 10-0 in just 7 innings. However, the Vols faced a doubleheader on Saturday and struggled to keep up in their long day of play. The Vols fell in their first game 9-3, and in their second, they were ran over by the Aggies. Tennessee entered the weekend ranked number 1 and fell to 5th after losing their first SEC series of the season. Tennessee looks to strike back against Ole Miss tonight at 7:30 here in Knoxville.
For the Lady Vols, they had a break this week after a series win against Mississippi State last weekend in Sherry Parker Lee. This weekend, they are traveling to face the Texas Longhorns, the consensus #1 team in the nation. However, it's not an uncommon spot for Tennessee. They took down Oklahoma, who was ranked #2 in the country just 2 weeks ago.
The Longhorns are undefeated at home and are on a 6-game winning streak. Carlin Pickens, who has the fastest pitch in softball history, is expected to make the start in the circle. First pitch is 9 p.m. tonight, and the series will continue throughout the weekend. Along with home games for Tennessee, baseball and softball, track and field also hosted their annual invite, hosting multiple teams from all over the East Coast. The Vols racked up 12 first-place finishes, and sophomore Grant Campbell set a new college best mark in the men's high jump, reaching 2.20 meters. He ranks 4th in the NCAA this season.
The Vols also totaled 4 marks that ranked top 10 in the NCAA this season. Track and field waste no time as they send a group of sprinters, hurdlers, jumpers, throwers, and pole vaulters to Gainesville, Florida for the Tom Jones Memorial Invitational.
Number 5 ranked Lady Vols rowing team dominated their own invite in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Rowing at Milton Hill Lake, Tennessee posted a clean sweep and also celebrated Senior Day.
For the Lady Vols, even though their basketball season is over, they are still making a difference for Vol Nation. On Wednesday night, Lady Vol basketball players Sarah Puckett, Talasia Cooper, and Kanaya Boyd were out at Orange Mountain Design meeting with fans and signing autographs. Puckett says it's simply giving back what they've given her.
It means the world just because, they've shown up for me consistently over the 4 years, just cheering me on the court, off the court, whatever it is, and just always showing support. So I love to give back to them and show them that I love them as well.
While Puckett's collegiate career may be over, Cooper and Boyd said they are excited for the future under head coach Kim Caldwell.
As for the Tennessee tennis team, the men's team traveled to Gainesville, Florida to face the Gators. They took home 4-3 victory. As for the women's team, they stayed put in Knoxville and faced the Auburn Tigers, losing 2-4. Tennessee tennis is eyeing up the SEC championships in 2 weeks.
That's all we have on the Rocky Top Sports Report. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Luke and Jordan. If you have any clues,
stay with us. We have more stories for you, including a resource to help the Vols always look their best.
Smokey's Closet offering free business casual clothing to students and faculty.
And our team traveled to Vegas and took home some national awards.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back, Falls. I'm Jackson Berg, and it's time for this weekend's weather forecast. Today's going to remain mostly cloudy with a good chance for some rain throughout the day, staying slightly chilly with some highs in the upper 50s and lows around 32 degrees. Saturday, we're going to see the sun again, as it is meant to be mostly sunny throughout the day. Temperatures are to remain around the mid-50s with lows in the mid-30s throughout the night. Finally, on Sunday, it is expected to be full sun and temperatures are going to increase to around 68 degrees, with only dropping to about 45 degrees throughout the night, accompanied with a slight overcast. As we inch closer to summer, we'll begin to see warmer temperatures more consistently. However, that's all I have for you. Have a great weekend and go Vols.
Thank you, Jackson. I know I'm excited to see some sun this weekend. The University of Tennessee has you covered when it comes to professional wear. The Center for Basic Needs has an office in the student union called Smokey's Closet.
Our own Caitlin Kirkpatrick brings us there to check it out.
Have a job fair or an interview coming up? Well, look no further. Located on the 3rd floor of the student union is Smokey's Closet, where they have free, gently used professional or business casual clothing that any faculty or UT student can get for free. Shannon Upton, a volunteer at Smokey's Closet, tells us how easy it is for people to come and shop.
Smokey's Closet is part of the Basic Needs Initiative, so we have Big Orange Pantry and Smokey's Closet, and we're in the same space, so people can walk in, sign in on the iPad, and grab as much clothes as they want, and we also have a fitting room available for anyone that wants to use it.
Student Ainsley Rashkin tells us how Smokey's Closet makes a huge impact on students at the university, and she sees it every time someone walks in.
I think it's a really big impact. I think it mostly gets used like the day before every career fair, and students will just come in and pick out different jackets or pants or whatever they might need for the career fair, and it's a great resource for them, and then sometimes they'll even bring it back the next day and more students can get use out of it.
Any student and faculty at UT can come and shop at Smokey's Closet.
As long as they fill out a little short survey and form, then they just grab it and they can take it, and it's theirs.
It's easy to use and takes no time at all. All you need to do is sign in on the iPad, go shopping, and now you have your next interview outfit. They are currently accepting donations, so feel free to stop on by. In the Student Union with Vol News, I'm Caitlin Kirkpatrick. Once you go shopping, the clothing is yours to keep, but you are always welcome to donate it back to Smokey's Closet.
Happening right now, the dedication of the Allen and Wendy Wilson Communication and Leadership Academy. The Wilson Academy is on a collaboration between the College of Communication and Information and the Haslam College of Business.
The inaugural class of 20 students, 10 from each college, begins in the fall. Our Alexa Durbin and Luke Lamory takes us to Las Vegas, where this year's BEA conference took place. Take a listen.
Hey Vols, we're here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I'm Alexa Durbin.
And I'm Luke Lamory.
And we're here at the BEA conference. Now Luke, tell us a little bit about what BEA is.
Yeah, Alexa, the BEA is the Broadcasters Education Association. And inside going on right now, there's a ton of different panels, discussions, and informative panels that are telling us all about how to improve our broadcasting. And I must say, the Las Vegas Convention Center is one of the largest convention centers in the country. So truly an honor to be here.
It's very easy to get lost in there for sure.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It is super insightful, super amazing for us students. And we also have students taking home awards for their coverage of the 2024 Paris Paralympics
And Land Grant Films is taking home an award as well, an award of excellence for their documentary production this past year. So truly remarkable stuff here going on in Las Vegas.
And our students also have the chance to present their coverage to other professionals and other students. So again, an amazing opportunity. We want to thank the UTK Media Center and Journalism for these opportunities and sending 8 students to Las Vegas this week.
Absolutely. It's been fun, it's been informative, and we have learned a lot. And we're going to send it back to one of our own award winners back in the studio, Griffin Hadley.
We were thrilled to take home second place in the Interactive Media and Emerging Technologies competition for our social media coverage at the Paris Paralympics. It really was a great week of learning out in Las Vegas.
Registering for UT Camp classes?
Through finals are right around the corner. Don't forget about class registration for the May mini semester and fall 2025 terms.
Registration is currently open for all students for the May mini and summer terms, and the fall term is currently open to priority, graduate, and senior students.
And sadly, that marks the end of our show today. No show next week as UT breaks up for spring recess. But I'm Griffin Hadley.
And I'm Caitlin Kirkpatrick. Make sure to follow us at TVC News Now on Instagram for the latest updates. Have a good weekend.